Oh. Good vach. So today is Daf Samach Zayin, the final Daf Elu Trevis. I don't know, people always say Elu Trevis is such a hard parak. Is it such a
easy, man.
I love it. I'm going to be sad that it's gone. Okay. Rolling smack in the middle of a sugya. On Friday we were discussing, there's a klal uprat klal. It says Bamayim, Bayamim. We're talking about fish, the halacha that you're allowed to eat worms, shkotzim, remosim that grow in water, aquatic creatures that don't have fins and scales. Says the Gemara, if they're in a kli, there's no shaila that if they're in a kli, you're allowed to eat them. That was never even a question, as the Gemara is going to say now. The only question was, could you eat these kind of shkotzim if they're in a bar? What's so special about a bar? A bar is connected to the ground. And the Gemara learns that you could eat these creatures from a bar. We learn it from a klal uprat klal, and then we learn from the extra word of soichlu. From, just as a review, we're going to go through it a little bit. Soichlu. It says soichlu at the end of the pasuk. It says toichlu at the beginning of the pasuk. So it comes to include also boiros. Says the Gemara. We are holding Ve'ema, like 6 lines, 7 lines down. Ve'ema. Ma prat mefoirosh mayim g'delim agavi karka. If the prat is an ocean, so what do we have here? We have the four water bodies of water. The best one is a yam. So you need to have snapper v'kaskeses in here, and a water creature out of the ocean is 100% awesome. They have a kli, water creature from a kli, 100% mutter. This guy, the mayon, is like the yam. This guy bar is like the kli. That's what we learn. From kli is mutter. You're allowed to eat water creatures that were created within the water and didn't come out of the water.
Or is a man-made well, or a well which fills up from groundwater?
No, kli is that doesn't touch the ground, like a mikvah is a kli.
What is a bar?
A bar is a pit in the ground, filled up with rainwater. Even though it's filled with rainwater, but since it doesn't move, it doesn't go anywhere. The water didn't originate from the ground, and it doesn't flow anywhere. So that we learn out from the word toichlu. Now says the Gemara. The Prat says. Ma prat meforish mayim g'delim agavi karka. Ocean, the water is on top of karka. Avkol mayim g'delim agavi karka. Umay Rabbi afilu bar yishichim waris lisura. Perhaps this bar, the third guy in the list, should be also to eat aquatic creatures. Umay miyat kelim. Okay, so there's a klal about the klal, and I'll say everything, all the waters, all bodies, all water, besides one called a kli. That'll be mutter. Imkain toichlu mayahanelei. It's so pashut to the Gemara that a kli is your mutter to eat the aquatic creatures in there that I don't need a word toichlu. The word toichlu is extra, and what do I do with the word toichlu? It has to be coming to say even a bar, a kli for sure not, because a kli has nothing in common with an ocean. The third ocean. Oh, but a cup of water not. A cup of water and an ocean have nothing in common. So therefore, when the Torah comes and says, but toichlu, I'm coming to exclude one thing, it has to be what? A bar, not a kli. Maya, the Be'er B'Shmuel Tana. The Be'er B'Shmuel, they say basically the same halacha. They learn it a little differently. Bamayim shtei pamim. So yesterday we learned that we have a klal uprat klal because it says bamayim twice. Here the red and the blue, and then it says bayamim. Bayamim is a miut, right? It says bamayim all waters. Bamayim all waters in the world, and then it comes and it says no. What kind of water am I talking about? An ocean. That's a miut. Then we said, wait a minute, it's not a real klal uprat klal uprat. The yam is all the way at the end. We said that's not so. Why? Every time you have klal uprat, you take a in between the clouds. Fine. Come to the that's not true. If I have klal, I can't do prat afterwards. But what I could do is something called ribui miyut ribui. Now, what's the difference between ribui miyut ribui? Very, very different. I have klal means everything. Then comes prat. Prat explains the ribui. Give me a cup of water. Mom's just right up here. The prat comes to explain the miyut. It says not everything, not all water has to be an ocean. So it's very limited. And then I get another klal afterwards. Says, you know what? Not only ocean, I'll extend everything into an ocean, only ocean. Then I'll elaborate a little bit. I'll let you do even a mayon, because it streams, it flows. Okay, but it's very, very inclusive. It's big meal. But when you do a ribui, ribui means ribui everything. Miyut means let me be memayit. I'm not explaining the ribui. I'm just taking something off. So that's a big nafkamin. If I'm explaining the ribui and I'm saying water doesn't what means an ocean, now I'm stuck. Now it's mamish limited to only an ocean, and then I'll give you another klal afterwards. I'll add something to the ocean, also a mayon. But that excludes all waters of the world, really. Only oceans and mayons. What about a lake, a this, a that, a charet, a bar, kli? No. A lake, by the way, should be like an ocean. Halachically. Somebody was asking, and I looked into it. It seems like it's like an ocean. Right.
It is or it's not?
It is. But a ribui is very different. The miyud doesn't come to explain the ribui. The miyud, all it does is limits a little bit. It'll say, not everything, but take off everything. So I'll take off a chveis, I'll take off a bar. I'll take off. So it's different than a klal or bradu klal. At the end of the day, we're going to come up with the same halacha, that all aquatic creatures that are created in a kli are mutter, and also created in a bar are mutter. The same thing as a klal or bradu klal. The question is how we get there. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה b'dvaroi. Okay. B'mayim shtei pamim ein ze klal uprat. This is not called a klal uprat. Elo ribu miyut. Taisus in Shavuos asks that we say in davening, all of us say korbanos before davening, and we say every morning that I've never said it, so I don't know what we say. No, he says something about Rabbi Shmuel says shlosh shesayim midas atar and dresses them. No mention of ribu miyut miyut, and this is Rabbi Shmuel. It's him. It's the same guy. It's the same Rabbi Shmuel. The Vei is the Talmidim. Okay, fine. But they're saying the name of the Rebbe. So anyway, some want to say, some Rishonim say that this is included in Klal Prat Klal. Some say that he only mentioned things that are machloikis. Fine. It's him. The Vei Rabbi Shmuel. So what are we talking about? Ella ribo miyet b'mayim ribo. When it says mayim, it means all waters of the world. B'yamim v'necholim miyet. Then he came and said, no, I'm going to be memayit b'yamim v'nechol. B'mayim chazav ribo. It's interesting that the Gemara says it as if the two waters are separated by the yam and necholim, even though in the pasuk it's yam and nechol. Gemara pretends it's a real ribui miyut ribui. But because I'm saying the point, his whole point why he did a ribui miyut ribui is because he wasn't happy to the fact that the mayim goes together. But the Gemara doesn't say that; doesn't mention it at all. But mayim chazav riba umiyut riba akol. So it's all waters. My Rabbi Charitzin Uni'itzin Lisura. He made these guys, the Mayons, the where the water comes up from the ground. The Charitzin Uni'itzin is like the ocean that aquatic creatures are also. Umay miyet boyreish sichin u'ma'arais leteira. And the bar, just like the first Tana, the bar has the same halach as a kli. All disgusting creatures in their worms, etc., are mutter to eat if they were created in the water. And they didn't come out of the water. As the Gemara, my riba, maybe the ribui comes to say, to include a bar, that if you have a pit full of rainwater, so the aquatic creatures are also umayimiyet meat kalim. Since we're not talking about svara here, we're just talking about it doesn't have to be similar. When it comes to riboy, miod, riboy, you're not being mimayit or being married with something that's similar to the original riboy. Like by klal, about the klal, the prat comes to explain the klal. There's no explanations here. It's halacha mish misina, it's exeris hakasav, there's a miod. Take out one thing, pick any one thing in the Torah, get rid of it. So me'echet to get rid of a bar, maybe get rid of kalim. Maybe kalim, aquatic creatures in kalim should be asur, and a bar should be mutter. Imkain to ma'hanale. So then what do I need? Toichlu. It's so simple that a kli is mutter. So then why do I need toichlu? Toichlu would be completely extra. As the more ve'ipachana. Toichlu comes to be matir a bar, and the meal comes to be to aser a kli. Says the Gemara, the Tani Matisyo Bar Yehuda, Maris the Rabbi's bar Shichnu Maris Later Loitzi Charitzin Itzin Lisura. Why did it make sense to you to do it that way? That kli should be mutar, and a bar. Maris the Rabbi's bar Shichnu Maris Later Loitzi Charitzin Itzin Lisura. Why is a bar mutar to aquatic creatures, but a maya neveya is asur? Marbani bar Shichnu Maris, he says Shehinat Surim Kikelim. Lemaisa, they're very similar to kli. Kli is enclosed, doesn't flow anywhere. So Mela, it makes sense to be marba a bar. Says the Gemara. Hey, Sasam Veimin Furish. On Friday we learned that there's two psukim. The first pasuk says these are the fish that you're allowed to eat, the fish that have snapper v'kaskeses. Mashma, that if they don't have snapper v'kaskeses, it's asur to eat. The second pasuk says, and anything that doesn't have a snapper v'kaskeses is asur to eat. Mashma, that if it does have a snapper v'kaskeses, mutar to eat. So you have two psukim. And the Gemara says, from there we learn that kalim, any creature that grows in a kli, you're allowed to eat. The question was, the Gemara says, maybe we should learn from there, not that any creature that grows in the water you're allowed to eat, but rather any fish that grows in a kli should be asur to eat. The Torah says you're allowed to eat fish from the sea, but fish from a pot, fish that are grown in a fish tank, a fish farm in a tank that's not in the ground, should be asur to eat. Are you learning that a worm that grew up in a fish tank you're allowed to eat? Maybe it's coming to say that if a real fish with snapper v'kaskeses is asur to eat. Says the Gemara, because I learned from the second pasuk, and the fact that the second pasuk says that a fish that doesn't have snapper v'kaskeses in the ocean is asur to eat, meaning that if it's not in the ocean, it's mutar to eat. And the Gemara says that one of these psukim is a mafurish. What? The second pasuk. The second pasuk says if it doesn't have snapper v'kaskeses in the ocean, it's asur to eat. If it does have, if it's not in the ocean, it's mutar to eat. So says the Gemara, one of these eat worms and stuff like that from a kli is mafurish, and one of the psukim is sasum. So now the Gemara says which one is sasum and which one is mafurish. There's machlokes. So one says, Ravach and Ravina, one says that the first pasuk that says you're allowed to eat fish that have snapper v'kaskeses, that's considered a mafurish pasuk. B'negeh to the halacha of eating aquatic creatures from water. V'chadomar ein lo mafurish. And the other one says the second pasuk that says you're not allowed to eat something that doesn't have snapper v'kaskeses, that's the mafurish. V'yesh lo sasum. And the first pasuk is considered sasum. By time of the man yesh lo mafurish, we're almost finished with the sugya. If you're not following 100%, we're almost finished.
We're insulted.
What?
We're insulted.
Don't be insulted. I'm also really not 100% following. I'm pretending. Amalach, minehu deka mishru kelim. I just woke Menachem up. He's like, okay, yes, I'm going to get him now. Zog the Gemara, why is one considered mafurish, the other one not? Amalach, minehu deka mishru kelim. How do I know the actual halacha? It goes like this. The Gemara says the combination, right? Nachal, just a quick chazar of what we just said a second ago. the combination of the two psukim, the first pasuk and the second pasuk, teach us one halacha. That what? An aquatic creature, a worm, a disgusting worm that doesn't have fins and scales, in a kli, you're mutter to eat. You're learning it from two psukim, from the first pasuk and the second pasuk. One of them is a sasum. Which one is mafurish? Says the Gemara, I'll tell you which one. I'm learning it really from the first one. How? Because there's a little diuk from the second one, yes, because the second one says that if it doesn't have snabber kaskesses in the ocean, it's mashma, but if it does, but at the end of the day, look where it says toichlu. Toichlu, and that's where I'm actually learning the halacha from, is in the first pasuk. So the first pasuk is mefurish. From the first one I learned it out. My time at the man omar ein lo mefurish, and what's the svar to say that the second pasuk is more mefurish? Because at the end of the day, the svara to say, the kasha was maybe kalim should be usher to eat a real fish, and not say that kalim should be mutter to eat an aquatic creature. So how do I know that I don't learn like that? From the second pasuk. So the second pasuk is more mefurish. Right? That was the Gemara's question. I would have a havamina that even if it has snapper v'kaskesses, it looks like a kosher fish, but since it was brought up not in the ocean, it should be usher. How do I know that's not the case? From the second pasuk. So the second pasuk is a more of a mefurish pasuk. It's more important to us than the first pasuk. Finished. Done with the sugya. New sugya. We're still talking about worms. And worms, we said, are mutter to eat if they grew up and they were created in water. In those days, they used to make beer from dates. And the dates were infested with worms and larvae and all sorts of disgusting things. So what did they do? How did they drink the beer? You're allowed to drink the beer. If, on one condition. First of all, I don't know if you remember, we learned that it was about dates, that if the worm is inside the date for 12 months, then it's 100% mutter to eat. Why? Right? If you have a jar with dates and the worms are inside the dates, you're allowed to eat the dates. Why? Because a worm could only live for 12 months. So if you have a date that's over 12 months old and there's a live worm there, it must have been that it was created in your date, and anything that was created in the date is mutter to eat. La halacha today, we don't eat worms, we don't eat things, right? If you have strawberries, you have to clean them very well, wash it with soap, the toothbrush, the whole thing, if you eat strawberries. Why? Because it has on it. So, maybe the insect was created not while the strawberry was attached to the ground. If we know for a fact that this insect was created on the strawberry after it was detached from the ground, it's mutter to eat. So our whole chashash is that it was created while it was attached.
You put it in the freezer for a year. Does that mean it's mutter to eat?
And it's alive?
You can't eat dead.
You can't eat dead. If it's alive or not alive. If it's dead, then it means it was there before. If it's alive, then yes.
Maybe they laid eggs.
How did it stay there?
The carcasses of the old ones are still inside.
The eggs are good. New eggs.
No, but I'm saying the carcasses of the ones that laid the eggs maybe before the year.
Yeah, that's something else. If you find carcasses, it's good. Yeah, we don't. We are makbeti. It's disgusting. Now, what do you do? What do you do with this beer? You have beer full of worms.
It's the same with grapes sometimes.
And we're talking about, again, beer that's over a year old. Because if it's less than a year old and you have worms, make it taste that the worms were created in the beer. Maybe the worms came in afterwards. What?
So grind it up, it's fine.
The worms are not, no, these are live worms. These are geschmacka worms.
In the beer?
In the beer. Says the Gemara, Lo lishvei in shichro, don't, what's the word? Misanen. How do you say misanen in English? Don't filter. Don't filter the filtered beer. Oh, what is it? Budweiser filtered beer from. You have those advertisements in England? Yeah, filtered beer. Don't filter the beer, but sivyosa burta with pieces of wood. What they did was they put a lot of wood, and the wood was big, and the worms, as they were passing through the wood, they'd catch onto the wood and stay out of the beer. It's a problem. Don't do it at night. Why? Dilma parish le'il mitzivyasa. Because maybe one of the worms grabbed onto the piece of wood. The second he grabs onto the piece of the wood, he becomes usher for you to eat. Why? Because now he's a sheretz hashoretz ala aretz. The only heter we had to eat these worms was when they were in the beer, in the water. Once they come out of the water, it's usher. The Gemara is going to address the obvious question. So then maybe every worm you have in the beer maybe climbed up on the wall for a second, came back down. Okay, that's in a second. Dilma partially mitzvah yosav other
Beer
novel
worm or
kosa.
not? That's what we gotta find out.
What?
It's a beer worm or not?
No, even if it's a beer worm and it came out, it climbed onto the glass that you're drinking.
Then you can't. Then it's a problem.
Then it's a problem because he came out for a second. He became a land creature instead of an aquatic creature. So maybe this worm, this geschmacka worm you're eating, grabbed onto a piece of wood, and then later on he fell back into the cup. So Mamela, since it's at night, you're not allowed to do it at night. Yehochi asked the Gemara, b'mananami. If you have beer in a glass, you're in a bar and you're drinking beer, and it's in a glass, dilma parish l'dafna the mana. Maybe for a second it climbed up the wall, or any barrel that the beer is in. Maybe these guys come out at night. They hang out on top of the barrel, and then they go back into the barrel.
Why it's kosher only on about this subject? It's also in bowl, in regular bowl. You can ask the same
Where in
question.
regular what?
Bowl, pit, regular pit. You
Yeah.
can ask the same question.
Oh, that maybe came out.
Maybe they
So that answer will answer this. Whatever the Gemara says here will answer
Because
that.
it's
Yeah,
wood.
you're right.
Because it's wood, right?
No, there's not enough communion. If it's wood or a bar,
Yeah.
if it comes out, it's out.
Yeah.
It's a good kasha though. Maybe it came out of the water for a second and went back in, or went back into the beer. Says the Gemara, Hasam Hainu Revise. That's the way it lives. That's its house. That's how he hangs out. So when he comes up the wall and goes back in, that's normal. So in the bar also, he comes out of the bar, he goes back into the bar. He lives in the water. Aquatic creatures come out and in. Fish sometimes come up for a little peek.
Frog.
They do a little this. No, frog is something else. Umenot timra, and how do you know you could say such a svara? It's a very stark svara. Say he's not a sharitz al arts. He hung out outside. He took a little spitzier outside, and he went back into the bar. It's still considered an aquatic mechtes. Says the Gemara, Minayin the Rabbi Desanya. Minayin the Rabbi is bar yishichun umaris sheshoycha v'shoysa behem. Ve'enu nimna. How do you know by a bar you could do this? Tamaloy mar toichlum kol shabam moyim. Oh, maybe the worm came out of the bar and went back in. This is how he lives. This is his house. Derech Agav.
So you're not allowed to use a cup.
Oh, very good. If the wine is in a cup, if the beer is in a barrel, and you move it to another barrel, so that's Hainu Revise. If it's in a cup and you move it to another cup, Hainu Revise. But if it's in a bar, you hear Rabbi say, Moridik, he's bringing up a very good point. What about a cup? It seems like, and this is how the Medayik, and it's almost obvious, it says, I brought it up on Friday. It says you bend down and you drink right out of the pit. In the mikveh, you go like this. You can't take a cup and go like that. Why? Because a cup is not revise. A cup is not how he lives. He lives in the mikveh and in the walls of the mikveh. A cup is already not his house. But when it comes to beer and things that are made in barrels and in cups, and you drink in cups, his house is the cup. His house is the barrel. So one cup to another cup doesn't change his house. So there's a nafkamina really where he was created. If he's created in like a big kli, so cup is not his place. But if he's created in a smaller thing than a cup is.
So what, a beer cup, you're pouring it out of the chavis into the cup, it should be also.
No. I'm saying that
It's the same as
chavis in a cup is just a smaller chavis. But a serious mikvah is different. I have a right to you. The rabbis, you have chushim shesinanon. These little gnats that you filter. Taima the sinanon. It's only because you filtered it out of whatever you're filtering. Haloi sinanon shari. But if you left them in the vat, then the small little gnats are mutter. Rabbi Schomburg, do you have anything to add to this? Like in the Chshem?
It's talking about wine here.
Wine. No, I wasn't asking that. I'm saying in general, do you have like in the Chshem, do they use these heterim, like little jukim that live in food? Do we still have that today?
You don't really know.
No, but I'm saying, let's say there's such a thing, worms that just grow in these things. I don't know, in
You make
beer
wine, you
and
make
all sorts
wine
of
at
stuff.
home, and you find and there's worms inside the grapes.
Well, that's something else. I said that you have to wait 12 months. You have to wait 12 months. It doesn't help you if there's a worm.
What about the insect? The blue cheese.
And they have worms that grew. Where are these worms from? From within inside the body?
No, it's a bacteria. They inject a bacteria into the cheese,
Yeah.
and that develops into worms. So that's from the cheese.
That was created from within. Really?
Old people eat it.
Real worms.
Totally.
And as long as the worms don't come out of
Okay, so we still they do use this at really.
yeah.
And could you see them in there?
Yeah, it's a streak. It's a blue
Otherwise,
You're eating worms.
You see blue, but you don't see anything moving.
No, not moving. But that blue, you know that blue is a worm.
I didn't know.
You're gonna eat from. Came out of the chair. You got the sheets. Yeah. We know for a fact that it was created within the cheese. But your wine that's less than a year old, we don't know where the worm came from. Blue cheese, we know it has to come from the cheese because it comes from this injection. Right. But a regular grape, maybe the worm came after, maybe the worm was created inside. We don't know. Amar Shmuel, Kishu Shitli, you have some sort of cucumber, some sort of. No, not everyone. Not the one that the Dr. Epstein eats has blue. Epstein eats has blue. Older.
Not the one that I've had.
The expensive ones. The expensive ones have worms. The real stuff. All right. Omar Shmuel, Kishu Shitliya. If you have a cucumber that is full of worms, be bel. When it was connected to the surah, even though the worm never touched the ground, but since it's connected to the ground, it's like the ground. Maybe we have a raya, and the Gemara says this is not a good raya. What's the raya? The Tani Chada, on the one hand, we have a contradiction. On the one hand, it says ala aretz lahoitzi. It says zizin sheba'adoshim. You have these gnats, these little annoying flies in lentils. V'esayitushim shebaklisim, and little flies, little mosquitoes that are in the chickpeas. V'toilah shebatmarim v'shebagroigrois, and little worms that are in the dates and in the figs. B'tanya yidoch and memela lahoitzi. What does lahoitzi mean? You're not chayiv for eating these guys. B'tanya yidoch, and it says in the other brayso, kol asher zaloretz l'rabois. You are chayiv on toilah shebikri zeisim shebikri kfanim. It says that if you have a small worm on the edge, the ikir of the zayis. How do you say ikir? I don't know what the ikir is. The root of the zayis. Shebikri kfanim. On the root of the grapes, it's asur. So what is it? Asur mutter. So I'll answer very easy. My love, we're talking about the fruit. One is connected to the ground, and if it's connected to the ground, it's like it walked on the ground. It's it's asur. And the other one is when it's not connected to the ground. Like we said, any fruit that's not connected to the ground and a worm was created within it, it's 100% mutter to eat, like the blue cheese. Says the Gemara, not a good raya. Loi, they're both talking about connected. When it is in the fruit, it's mutter to eat. Why? I would say, why? Because it never came out to the ear of the world, says Rashi. Habilana gufa. But if it's on the tree, on the actual tree, then it's asur daikinami, and that's why it says a funny lashon of the root of the zayis. It doesn't say in a zayis; it says the root. What does the root mean? It's talking about the tree. Shma mino. Okay. Bottom line is that today we don't know where these guys come from, unless you have blue cheese that you know that the worm was created within the cheese and never where it comes from. We know how it originated. But if you're just eating an apple and there's a worm in the apple, you're not sure if the worm was created in the apple, like its mother left the egg there and it was created in there, and then it would be 100% mutter, or it came afterwards. So Mela, we can't eat worms in apples.
What's worse, finding a worm in an apple?
What's worse?
Half a worm.
Half a worm.
After you put it.
In most cases,
Can I ask you a silly question though?
Yeah.
On that basis, why is it that we are so worried about worms and fish? The fish
Oh.
was in the sea all the time,
Oh.
never touched the land.
Next sugya. Here we go. We're getting there.
We're getting the next.
If you have the shaila afterwards, let me know. Omar Rav Sheish, boy Rav
in
Yosef.
most cases, by an apple, there's usually a hole in the outside of the apple to show
That it came from outside.
they came from the outside. Most,
Yeah, but what if the mother poked a hole in there and laid an egg?
yeah.
Then it would be mutter.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, the egg is okay. You're allowed to eat, there's no problem with the egg. It was created inside the apple. Why is that not a problem? Why is that a problem? I don't think it's a problem. I'm not sure that's a problem.
On the left, only the egg.
Boy Rav Yosef. Says Rav Yosef, Hersha Umeso, a bunch of tekus. You have a worm that came out of the apple, and before it hit the ground, it died. Mao. So what's the shaila? Because at the end of the day, it never really walked on the ground. It says Ashar Salaretz. But on the other hand, it left the fruit. Mao. Mivtsasa Mao. And if you'd say that it's usher, what about if part of it came out? Lavir oil Mao. What if it just came out to the air and somebody grabbed it out of the air? Oh, yummy worm, and just swallowed it while it was in the air. Teiku. Boy Ravashi. Legag tmarma. What if the worm climbed out of the date and came to the top of the date? Is that considered sharetz al aretz? Maybe the only heter is when it's inside the pri. Legag garinasamau. Rashi says interesting lashon here. I'm not exactly sure. He says like all these creatures are created from within the pit. I don't know. Maybe it means they live there. So it climbed out to the top of it. Is that considered coming out to the ground? Mitmar l'tmar mao. What if it never left the date but went into another date? So is that considered leaving and coming onto the ground, or at the end of the day it went from fruit to fruit? So it's still considered within the fruit and it's mutter to eat. Teiku.
Attached to the tree.
What?
Dates were attached to the tree at the time they
Yeah,
came
it's-
out. Where they were.
Why is it obvious?
It says if it's cut already, it's gone to the ground, you question that it went on the ground.
If it was cut
I'm
off,
saying you know for a fact not. It was on the ground. You know for a fact. You watched it. It never went on the ground. I'm saying.
There were a pile of dates on the ground that crawled from one day to another, but it was detached from the tree.
No, but if it's attached to the tree, that's a different problem. That it's not then it's mechuber lekarka, and then it's also anyways.
It's not Mukubal.
So I would think that's not mechuber. Amar Rav Sheish Bereider Avidi.
It is exclusive.
It is klushim, yeah. Kukione asire. Remember these kukione, these worms that infest the lungs, the liver of an animal. They're asur. My taima mal masu. You should know, says the Gemara, that these worms didn't originate from within inside the animal's body. They came from outside. Mascular Ravashi imal maasu. If you're so sure that they come from outside, lishtak chuderch beisarei. How did they get in? They probably came out through the waistline. They came in through the waistline. So they came through the waistline. How come it is when you open up an animal, you never find it in the waist tract, in the intestines? If they crawl from the outside, there's two ways it could get in: from the mouth or from the rear. So it probably came from the rear and it climbed in and went through. So how come when you open up the animal intestines, you don't find it there?
It was sleeping and it climbed in the nose.
Oh, ikidamri omer Rav Shisha Bereider Avidi kukyoni sharu. Some people say no. These are mutter. My taimo minei gavli. They come from within. Omer Ravashi pshito di ma'alma ka'asu l'shtak choderech beisarei. So over here he says fakert. It's pashut that they come from within, because otherwise you would have found it. So over here he's actually bringing a raya, not asking a kasha. V'yechasa says the Gemara kukyoni asiri. You're not allowed to eat these worms that originate with inside the body. My taima minei gavli, my taima menom naim Va'ilele bu'usye. When an animal falls asleep, they could come through its nose. They come through its nose. So Rashi l'shitase that they go through the kana, they go through the trachea. It's not working. It's working. They go through the kana, and they get. You hear this? They come through they go through the lungs, into the lungs, make a right turn. They're able to get out of the lung into the liver, because Rashi l'shitase says that there's that pipe over there, that big pipe, that somehow there's some connection. We don't understand exactly how it works today, but there is some sort of connection that they're able to get out of the lung, go into the liver. So at the end of the day, the Gemara says these worms come from outside of the body. They don't originate inside. It's an unbelievable thing that they could actually live there. The oxygen, the whole thing. They come in, they have a whole... What? Worms.
Yeah, they don't need oxygen.
What? But they lived outside. They lived on the ground. I mean, you're not talking about a cow that's swimming in the water and a worm from the water came to his nose. Cow is outside grazing, fell asleep, and some worm from the ground comes in, up its nose, goes through its whole thing, goes through the liver, and hangs out in the liver. I don't know how that works, but it happens.
Oxygen in the body.
Yeah, it could be.
It's an illness.
Yeah.
Some people got worms in even.
Yeah, I know.
Humans have worms that come.
Right.
Happens to humans as well.
I know. It's amazing. Okay.
Usually the intestines.
There's a lot of parasites attaching itself.
Usually in the intestines,
The insides.
These are parasites.
Yeah.
The anus, yeah.
The Gemara says if the person would see all the thing, would you open your eyes and see all the shade or whatever? It could be
The Rambam, I think. Yeah.
It could be that there's so many parasites and we can't
Right.
see them because they're too small. If we saw them, we'd be horrified.
Yeah. They are very scary. I saw this picture of this guy takes pictures 50,000 magnification, and you see they have like these teeth, like they look like the scariest monsters, eyes and teeth, and these are the parasites and like these tiny worms that like the human eye can't even see. But when you go online, see the 50,000 time magnification, literally sharp teeth, serrated teeth, top and bottom, and they could just okay.
Give you a speech on mites
Running
that
out
live
of
in
time.
bedding.
Yeah.
If you blow them up, you'd be horrified. Every bed is going
Right.
My bed doesn't.
Yeah, they do inside with it.
In Korea, they still
You
don't.
sleep in a hammock.
Hammock doesn't have them?
No. Says the Gemara, Darnay. This is what you're talking about.
Water bed.
Darnay is
A sheet. You have a
there's a worm that lives between the skin and the meat. Darnay the Bisra Asire. The Chavrei Sharion, if it's the worms that live between the skin and the meat of an animal, it's also. You hear this? But a worm that lives in a fish is mutter. Omar lo Ravina liime. Ravina told his mother, don't you worry about pulling out the worms from the fish. Avlali vano eichel. I hate the way they look, I hate the way they taste, but if you're able to somehow make a filter fish out of it and make sure I don't really see it, then don't trouble yourself. Shaila here in the Rishonim they discuss in Rashi. Does Rashi mean that he told her just you could take it out, put it right back in, or he just told her don't worry about it, just leave them in? That would be a big nafkamin if you allowed to put it back in. Over there it says l'rabbis is adron shebehema. Omar lei hochayash the behema b'shchita hu the mishtaria. V'hano mideloika mahani l'shchita b'surai kaimi. When you have a worm in an animal, so then the worm is asur what? What isur? Ever min achai. So then you come on to shchita, you're allowed to eat the meat, but it didn't help for the worm. Avodogim ba'asiva ba'alma mishtari. Fish, there's no isur of ever min achai. There's no isur on these terlaim. So the worms in the fish, no problem. You hear? The worms in the fish shouldn't be a problem. What? Oh, so they discuss it. No, so what do they say? Uber is gzeres hakasov. But you mean the shchita doesn't help for a worm. It helps for the uber benimoy. That's going to be our next. We're going to get into that.
So
Okay.
Is this how the worm finishes?
With the
Worms
fish,
and fish.
I guess. So if they were
This
created
whole
within,
fuss about the emails that were going around. Oh, you're not allowed to eat fish.
but maybe it came from afterwards. Maybe it comes afterwards.
Or it comes from the outside.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It came from the outside. What if it swallowed it? What if it swallowed these worms?
In the water.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to eat the worms, it's from the water.
No, not ocean water. Not ocean water. You're not allowed to eat the ocean water. Only bird water.
What happens, the fish eat other fish, and those fish in themselves eat fish, and all these fish have got worms in, and it all goes through.
Why do you have to say that a fish eats a fish? If a fish that ate a fish and the fish that he ate has a worm, so the fish that ate the fish also has a worm. I'm saying which fish has the worm?
The nice that they've traced where the worms came from.
It's a little fish.
Yeah, it's
Oh, you know where it comes from? From the people fishing. They
They were sleeping on the ground.
No, they threw in the water to catch the fish.
what?
I think it's the other way around.
Today,
You throw them into the water because that's what they eat.
Wow.
flies, they don't use fish.
Tanarabanon.
the fish can't survive without the parasite.
Oh, I forgot to get. Okay, fine. Tanarabanon. Hoylech al gocha in zenachash. Koil l'rabbis hashilshul besadoim l'shilshul. Small little kol. You're not allowed to eat these little worms. Al arba ze'akrov. How do you say akrov?
Scorpion.
Scorpion. Thank you. Kol hoylech l'rabbis hachipushes besadoim l'chipushes. What's a chipushis? It's a car. It's a beetle. Marve reglaim. We all know what a marve reglaim is. Ze nodol. I had a mazel. I had a marve reglaim in Chicago.
Centipede.
A centipede, literally this big, and I made sure that my wife, because my wife complains, because we had Baruch Hashem, we got rid of them, but we had these silverfish. I don't want to live in Israel anymore. We have silverfish in our house, and all we needed was a resource. Once we left, it was gone. But so we had the thing, and then we went to Chicago, Pesach, and then I walk in there, and there's a centipede this big. There's nothing uglier than a centipede. It literally has, 50 feet, 100 feet. It's called here, Rashi says a Mary Aglaim or something. It's like, it's a new, so we can't live in Chicago either. You can't live in Israel because of a little silver, so you live in Chicago. It's Chicago for sure now. So, yeah. What? It saved me, that centipede. You see? What? Ma'ber Aglaim ze nodol. Ad kol l'rabbi sadoime v'sadoime l'doime. The kids or anything that's similar to these guys is also to eat. Says the Gemara, Tanya Rabbi Yosi ben Damascus Oimer, Levyasan dog taru. You should know that the Levyasan that Baruch is going to feed is dog tar. Now the Marsha asks the obvious question. Obviously it's tar. If Baruch is going to feed it to the tzaddikim, it's tar. But I saw the Yerushalmi says it's not even tar. It's not tar. So that's why it's not a kasha. Shows kasha doesn't even start. He's asking it's so posh to start, but it's not.
But you know why?
Why?
Because some people won't eat from the burning shloud shchita. Fish.
Shenemar gava afike moginim. Tachtov. What? The what?
There's a problem with the sheet.
There is a problem because no, you're talking about the shara bar. Shara bar. There's a problem with the shara bar shchita.
Saying that the Leviathan will be shackled with the fins. And
No. Is going to be shechted with the fins of the Leviathan, and that's serrated, and that's also it's a yeah. Yeah. People don't need that extra. Yeah. Anyways, you see that the Leviathan had snapper v'kaskeses, and therefore it's mutter to eat. The treifus, I'm gonna miss you. It's one of my favorite. Okay. Have a great